Okay, so let's get past the depressing part. There's some reasons for hope. There's some reasons to be excited about what can happen. There's some reasons to get together and get some good work done. And this is one of the reasons. This is a reef I showed you a picture of before. This is in Roatan in Honduras. It's the only reef in the Caribbean that I've ever seen like this. 100% coral cover as far as the eye can see. This is what a lot of the Caribbean looked like in the past. Why does this reef still look like this? I honestly don't know. But there's probably something special about these particular corals or this particular place, which suggests that corals actually can survive in the environments that we've created in the Caribbean, which has probably been the hardest hit part of the world for corals in the last 30 years. So this reef gives me a lot of hope because these staghorn corals, which are considered endangered in the United States, are thriving there. And maybe there's something special about the genes of these particular corals that we can transplant them in other places and maybe they can flourish. This particular coral has figured out a way to live in a really super high energy environment. This is the only coral I've ever seen that's been shaped like this one. This one gets battered by huge waves, and it's figured out how to grow in a way to protect it so it doesn't have very much surface area to get broken off in those waves. So corals can handle what's going on in the Caribbean. They can handle high energy environments. There are reefs around the world where the fishes are still present, and we know that if we stop fishing them, they come back on pretty much all reefs. This is a reef in Bonaire that's been hit by bleaching events and huge storm events and has lost almost all of its coral cover. But if you dive this reef, you will see small corals all over the place, and you will see medium-sized corals all over the place, and they're all growing. This is a recovering reef. It's gotten hit hard, but it's recovering. And one of the reasons it's recovering is this beautiful parrotfish. This is a queen parrotfish in the middle. This is the loudest reef I have ever been on in my life. The entire dive, all you hear is scraping on the bottom. And look at the bottom. The bottom's kept clear. It's kept free from algae, and that space then can be colonized by new coral. These parrotfish have a tremendous effect on the health of a reef. There was a recent study that said reefs with parrotfish are 6 times as resilient as reefs without them. Because if the parrotfish keep the bottom clean, they keep the environment good for corals so that the corals can regrow after they've had after there's been a storm or a bleaching event. This coral is growing in an environment where the daily swing in pH between day and night is bigger than the projected change for over the next 100 years with ocean acidification. This coral lives in a place where it goes up and down hugely every day, and it grows like this. This is the most sort of excited-looking coral I've ever seen in my life. You could almost see it growing. It's leaping toward the surface. And this coral is growing in a very hostile environment from a pH perspective. This coral has figured out a way to do this in a place where daily that pH drops into really low. And so all of these things tell us that corals are able to deal with the kinds of things that are happening around the world, but we have to give them a little bit more breathing room to be able to do so.